We had some audio issues there. Now we're good to go. I think we're better now. Okay, here we are, guys. We're getting ready to talk about the big winter storm that is moving through. And now there we go. So we got to make sure that all the technical glitches are worked out here. That over there is Jacob. He is going to be talking about some of the impacts here from all of this and how this is going to play out. We're going to look at those temperatures there that obviously are going to play a big role into kind of what we're going to see over the next few hours. But here's what's happening. We have some big concerns with the system here, and these are what I consider kind of my biggest concerns and problems and issues that we're going to have with this, and that's that I think travel becomes a big issue, come Wednesday morning here. Heavy bands of snow. We're talking snow rates that are going to be 1-2 inches an hour in some locations. That's something we don't get here very often. That's what makes this a little bit of a different kind of snow. You're going to have things transition to kind of a blowing and drifting of the snow by tomorrow night. This time tomorrow night, that becomes a major issue. And then we get the next wave to come through, and you're throwing snow and wind in that next round and nearing blizzard conditions with 30+ mile-per-hour winds. And that's going to make some of the rural areas, impassable. And I know many of you are watching right now live out in some of the rural areas. You know what it's like when you get those drifts out there. It's tough to navigate those country roads, and I think, boy, those areas are really going to get it. And then it just gets really cold. Below zero wind chills are going to be out there for us. Okay, let's talk about what's happening here right now with things. And that's Peoria. We just got reports from Peoria that they've seen the transition. They're now over to snow, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can almost kind of see almost the kind of murkiness to the picture. That's actually the snow that is falling there. Actually, there's a snowplow right there. Reports from our sister station at WMBD that their parking lot is covered in snow out there already, and so we're already starting to see that transition. And so I know many of you are wondering, when is that going to eventually happen here? I'll show you the radar here real quick, and you can see that there's a lot of rain right now. That transition right there it is, Peoria, okay? And you're seeing there where that's starting to occur, but it's going to take a little bit of time before that gets all the way down here through the rest of parts of central Illinois. Several hours. I want to stress this, okay? Some of you are going to wake up tomorrow morning and you will not have snow on the ground, okay? And that's going to be a lot of you down here near I-70. Now, north of I-74, you're going to have some snow, okay? And boy, it's going to be coming down a pretty good clip. But it's going to take a long time for areas here into Coles and Douglas and Edgar and Shelby and Christian counties for you guys to eventually kind of transition over. But we're already starting to see this here. And snow is falling, and they're talking about some really high snowfall rates. They actually put out a Storm Prediction Center mesoscale discussion talking about the really heavy snowfall rates that are already going to be setting up here in west central Illinois. And then you can just basically extrapolate that out through tomorrow, and we're going to see some of those same rates that eventually kind of wind up here with, 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's where you get these high snowfall accumulations when you get up there, like really high there as well. Okay, so there again is the big view there. I want to skip ahead here and talk about the future track here just real quick, just to kind of reiterate the rain that's going to eventually go to the snow. That's 2 o'clock in the morning. But these dark blues, just for kind of some perspective for you, when we show our future tracks here, usually when we get snow, you can see there's different gradients of colors of blues here, and these are our typical blue colors. But we've got some of the darkest blues that we can get on our future track that show up here, and that's why we think that there's going to be such heavy snow that will occur. But notice, as we mentioned down here, the purples that are down there are going to be where that freezing rain and sleet is going to be sticking around the longest and cutting down maybe on some of those totals as we get down there. This is going to come in 2 different waves. That was wave 1, and there's going to be a break, and there's going to be wave 2 that's going to move through as we head into the day there on Thursday morning. So 2 different waves that we've got with this, and there's that second one kind of coming in, but there have been some changes to that, and that has shifted some of our snowfall forecast totals here as well. So I've got some temperatures here showing up, and Jacob's got some temperatures here as well, and he's going to show you a little bit more with the transition here and how we're waiting for that snow to eventually arrive, but it's still going to take quite some time because It's still 47 in Mattoon. So, Jacob, but look at the air just to your northwest.
Yeah, it is cold up there, Kevin, and with that cold air pushing on in, I mean, today we were in the low 50s in Champaign. We had spots getting close to 55, 60 even in places. It's still down the road in Carbondale at 57, 52 in Bloomington, Indiana, Indianapolis at 55, but that cold air is just off to the north and west, and as that continues to push on in, that transition will continue to occur. Here we are right now. We're looking at a 42 reading in Champaign. Just a few minutes ago, we were at 45. Temperatures are falling. It's down to 34 in Bloomington and in Jacksonville. 47 right now in Mattoon. The warmth today felt very spring-like. And I think that probably makes folks think, oh, is it going to happen? We're very confident that we're going to get that snow here. It just may take a little bit of time. The cold front now, you can see, is down here approaching I-70. We've got that north wind bringing the wind chill value. It feels like the 20s already on the I-55 corridor. Some of those north winds are between 10 and 20 miles an hour. That's the sign that the cold air is rushing on into the region. It is much different than it was this afternoon out there. This is a look at the winter weather alerts. All of the WCIA viewing area is under a winter storm warning. They expanded that. We thought that would happen. That's going to go all the way through Thursday night with both rounds that are coming on in here. It's this first round where we're already talking about impacts now, but remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. You'll say, oh, Wednesday evening, you didn't get as much snow as we thought we would. There will be more that follows that as we go into Wednesday night and Thursday. So remember that here before you say, oh, we didn't get the snow we had, or oh, they were wrong. It will take some time. We're forecasting all the way out through Thursday night with round number 2 for some of those totals. There's that transition line here. You can see all this moisture. In fact, we may have some areas that see some more moderate rainfall ahead of it here. I can't rule out an inch or two in some spots. I think that's a possibility with some moderate to perhaps heavy rain at times. But you'll see here this transition line already showing signs of moving on in. I did get a report of a little bit of ice in Gibson City, and then I've seen some snow reports, some flakes mixing in already in the Bloomington Normal area. So we know it's coming with time, but we got to cool the air off here. This is a look more to the north and west, and you can see that snow line working its way down I-74. It's taking its time, but it will get here. It will get here before you know it. So here's the whole system. Big, wide regional view here. First off, there's a lot of evidence of what's going on. We've got an Arctic high to the north and west, and we've got a big tropical air mass to the south and east, and that is pulling lots of moisture. Look at all this rain feeding straight north into the system here up the Mississippi River. There will be plenty of moisture to go around with this. That's not a concern. The more question is how fast does it transition, and does sleet mix in to lower some of our totals? But look at that. A lot of folks are going to be seeing some winter weather here, from snow locally to ice down in southern Illinois and central Indiana. Before I send it back to you, Kevin, this is a look at timing for when it starts. We've got the snowfall map coming up and the ice map. We don't want to forget about the ice, but for the most part, the snow is going to bring the highest impacts here. This graphic shows an approximate time for the start of the transition. It's not an exact, but it gives you an idea of how things will progress on through here. So we've got this 8 p.m. till 2 a.m., Jacksonville, Lincoln, Bloomington, Pontiac, parts of Ford and Iroquois County. This light blue here, 12 a.m. till 6 a.m. You know, maybe 2, 3 in the morning for Champaign-Urbana, maybe even a little later. But when it first starts, some of us down by Mattoon, Charleston, Paris, towards Shelbyville, down towards Litchfield and Vandalia. It might be after 4 a.m. and you'll wake up down there and say, where's the storm? It's still raining, but so that mix will come, and we may have some spots here south of I-70 that have to wait till Wednesday afternoon to get that transition. But once it starts, Kevin, it won't stop with the impacts from the snow, the ice, and the wind. Those are all things we've been talking about here. You know, Kevin, when we look at the numbers, I think it's the impacts that drive the message home here. But everyone loves the good numbers on the maps there, right, Kevin?
They love these numbers here, and here's the thing about the numbers that I want to stress when we do these ranges. We call them a range, okay? And I have, I've seen other, let's just say other colleagues potentially do ranges that are even wider than this. And I hate doing that because it's like saying, hey, 1 to 12 inches. I got to be right somewhere, right? And so we as meteorologists, we try to do our best to forecast and give a tighter range there. But keep in mind, it's still a range. And not always do you want to just focus on that top number. I know it's the, you know, it's the sexy thing to look at is that is the big number there, 16 plus inches. And you look at that, that's the one thing you think of. This whole area, the range is 12 to 16. So we're saying that 12 inches of snow in Champaign is possible. It's possible in Danville, in Decatur, and in Springfield. But that range goes up to 16. That's kind of the max performance with the storm here. If everything lines up perfectly, if the butterfly flops its wings 17 times instead of 16, okay, you get the picture here. If everything lines up the right way, then you could hit that high end. But it's a range, 12 to 16 here. Again, that's a matter of a difference of 0.4 inches of liquid precipitation, which is not much, okay? So you notice this area here that we've got. It's a wide swath. It's so odd for us to put out such a large snow forecast, not just the numbers, but over a 20 county area. We've got 12 to 16 inches. That's, that's a pretty wild thing to see on a snowfall forecast map. But the one thing that we did do, because we think this second round is trending a little bit further to the south, we upped the snowfall totals a little bit more down in Paris and Mattoon, down towards Shelbyville. We think that 8 to 12 inch range, because that second wave that comes in on Wednesday night into Thursday trended just a little bit to the south. Now, there's still questions, will that occur? But a lot of the model data has been kind of trending in that direction there. So now we're just going to see more of you getting more snow, and as a result, less in the way of a little bit of ice down here, which is our ice forecast. That still isn't much, but I think there's going to be a period of time down here where 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch is not out of the question. Because when we show you that future track again, you're going to see the purple area that shows up with the rain, the freezing rain, and then the snow. And that purple area, it's about 20, 30 miles wide. And in some areas it stays a little bit longer. And so that means that you could have some of that ice and freezing rain occur and have it be there for an extended period of time. Jack, get over here.
Yes, sir.
Jack Griffin's over here as well. Jack is making an impromptu. Oh, here we go.
There we go. Yep.
You're wet.
It is pouring down rain as I get the storm tracker ready to go. So I also reset the trip, so we're at 0 miles. So we'll see how long we drive in this storm the next couple days.
So Jack's going to be on the storm tracker a lot. He is going to be giving us live pictures and reports from out there, and obviously being as safe as possible in doing so.
Oh yeah. Well, if we need to cut it, we'll bring it back home.
I mean,
so,
listen, if you literally cannot drive and conditions are just that bad, then he'll pull off to the side and we'll just make him stand out in the snow beside the car.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, we're fully confident in our abilities to make sure that we provide a good, safe product here on TV. But we do think it's good to always show what's occurring out there. And I like doing it. So.
And he likes doing it,
Yeah.
and that's the thing.
Yeah.
We don't force him to do it.
Nope.
He loves it. He loves
Me
it.
doing it. So
It is.
I'm gonna go check
All
out
right,
a couple
bud.
things here.
There we go.
Yep.
So Jack, so again, the whole weather team is kind of geared up for this thing. Amelia's home getting a little sleep right now. She'll be in on the morning show, but you're going to see us throughout the next several days, maybe on even newscasts you don't normally see us on, and we'll be popping in and out and doing the different various coverages there. So again, as we were talking about just before there, we still think there's going to be some ice, some freezing rain and sleet accumulation, especially down here, Clark County. You get down there near Effingham, Cumberland County, there may be some higher sleet amounts that could occur. So that's the only thing down there that's kind of the thing that's maybe a little bit up in the air. Do you guys get to that, 8-inch amount, or do you get sleet and then you're more of 6 inches down there? That's the big question. But Jacob, big weather impacts with a system this large, with this much moisture, with a multifaceted winter storm that the likes we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, you're right about that. So we want to talk about the impacts, because at a certain point, snow becomes too much. And it doesn't matter if it's a 14, a 16, an 18, or whatever the number is here. These snow totals, a wide swath of 12 to 16 inches or more, and there will be wind as well that will cause blowing and drifting of that snow. That's another concern here, especially as we get towards round number 2. That's when I think the winds are going to pick up. So the snow totals, our impacts there, very high. Roads and travel, that's going to affect that pretty substantially. We expect in some areas by tomorrow morning into the early afternoon, perhaps WCI 3 News at noon tomorrow, be the thick of it for the impacts. So be sure and join us for all of those newscasts. That dangerous travel, I know folks have to get out and they have to go. If you can avoid it, that's probably a smart decision. If you can't, be cautious, and we've got some tips on our website that you can follow. The one good thing about the ice totals coming down for our friends from Mattoon, Charleston, Paris, Effingham, Casey, Greenup, Toledo, Shelbyville, down towards Vandalia, St. Elmo, Farina, places like that, even Newton and Robinson. The good news is we've brought our power outages impacts from high down to medium. It's still there, but perhaps more of the wider high-end event is something that we don't think would be something that would happen for here. But still, when you get wind, you get snow, you get a little ice, we can still see some power outages. Perhaps the greatest impact event for that, a bit lower, which I think is going to be good news for us here, at least better news. Still, though, I want to stress that maybe you think about plugging in the phone tonight and being aware, have your laptop plugged in and anything else. Just be aware and be ready for it. It doesn't hurt. Let's talk here about our snow forecast impacts. This is a generic look at what kind of snow and where you fall here. We're talking 4 to 8 inches down by I-70. We're talking dangerous travel likely. Some power outages possible. We start getting 8, 12, and above 12 with our forecast we have now. Travel becomes nearly impossible, especially with wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour, causing blowing and drifting of snow. It will be hard for the road crews to keep up. They'll do the best they can. We know they do a fantastic job around here, but in this event, first off with the rain, they cannot throw salt down right now to pre-treat the roads. That's not an option. The rain would wash it away. It'd be washing money down the drain. Instead, there's that time when the transition starts that they'll go out, and that way they can preserve as much of that material for when the icing will occur. And then from then on out, they'll be plowing and taking care of things here into the region. So that's the look at the snow impacts. For the ice impacts here, we were starting to think earlier that we'd be above that 0.3 inch mark. We're not there anymore. Now we're down here still with 1 to 2 tenths for our friends down by I-70. Watch for icy roads and bridges, isolated outages possible here. Still a potential, especially if we get maybe closer to 2 tenths and some of those gusty winds. So we'll watch it here, but at least the high impact ice event will be off to the south, southern Illinois, south central Indiana. This is our impacts graphic, the timeline. I've still got it here for Tuesday morning. You can see where we started low. We talked all day today. It'd just be rain. Be fine after sunset, then things start to transition. Right now in the curve, we're right here. It's really starting to trend upward pretty quickly here. And by tomorrow morning, those impacts become medium to high, especially where areas are seeing the snow earlier. Some spots to the south, still maybe down here a little lower. But once that transition occurs, and then we expect round number 1, midday into the afternoon, impacts continuing into the nighttime hours. Thursday is that round number 2 with the wind continuing, and likely, I think, into Friday morning, we're still going to have impacts out there with some more blowing and drifting of the snow. Before I send it back to you, Kevin, let me take a look again at the precip type. This is not a look at how much or what time. We're looking more at the timing and the type here for anything. First off, tonight, we're seeing that general transition with south and eastward extent. I think by early tomorrow morning, these areas in blue will see snow, and some of that snow may be heavy. Still, though, we're transitioning. There will be rain down here, transitioning to wintry mix, and maybe some of us down here in near Robinson and Newton have to wait till the afternoon. But the general idea is that transition continues to push to the south and east with colder air. This is Wednesday. Again, same scenario. Most of us are seeing snow. That transition line probably settles in somewhere down here, but it will continue to move to the south and east. And we think it's going to transition to mainly snow here into the region. So that's something that we'll see. Wednesday late afternoon into Wednesday evening, there will be a break. The snow returns Wednesday night from round number 2. Earlier, we had some freezing rain and wintry mix a little further north. That southward trend means most all of us now sitting in snow, but that heaviest band where we thought might railroad tracks right over round 1 and round 2, now we've got round 1, perhaps round 2 a little further to the south. Wednesday night into Thursday, that will continue to be the trend. We really think it's mainly a snow event at that point. Still a little freezing rain, a little wintry mix possible down by I-70, but I think the good news is with round number 2, we thought, there's Jack, he's getting out of here. See you, Jack. We thought with round number 2, the concern would be that this would be a little more north. It seems like it's going to be snow. We wanted more snow to lessen the ice, and I think as of now, that's what we're looking at. So that's promising news. It doesn't change anything with travel and impacts, though. It's still going to bring dangerous travel into the region. So, Kevin, it's pretty astonishing when we look at the numbers this year. So far this season in Champaign-Urbana, we've only had 2.2 inches of snow total. The biggest night we had, or the biggest day, back in the 28th a few days ago. We squeezed out 7/10 of an inch here. It's safe to say with the least snowiest winter, 1953 and 1954, of 6.7 inches, we're going to blow that out of the water. So we're no longer thinking that here. In fact, with the forecast, the average to date, 12.4 inches of snow, where we should be, Kevin. We're well on our way to get to the average and then be exceeding the average with one single event.
And I think that, like you said, we will make it there. We will get to probably that average, because all we got to get is, what, 10 inches there, and we'll get to the average. And I think we have some high confidence of that 10-inch range. That right there is WCIA.com. Probably have heard about it before. So we have on there the article you've always seen before. It's our Weather Now article. It's the in-depth kind of forecast. It's the things that we post every day about what's going on with the storm. We've got this new thing we're doing, and we're going to call it the Winter Storm Live Blog. And it's going to be an ongoing, running update of what's going on. We're just going to throw everything up there, okay? So as you can see here was an update 7:15. Jacob posted about when the transition is going to begin, okay? And then you go down here, 7:10, the latest on the closings. 6:20, talking about how there's rain. And so we're probably going to make a new post here soon talking about the transition that's starting to happen in places like Bloomington and Peoria. And so this will be kind of a one-stop shop that you can come to here and just see what the latest is. See if there are accidents that have occurred. See if roads are shut down. See what conditions are like out there. We're just going to throw it all up there on that one article, that one story you can access right there on your app, on the website, and all of those places there is where that blog is going to be. And again, it's right there at the top there at WCA.com. So we encourage you to just check back there. I mean, you wake up in the middle of the night, you want to know what happened in the last hour? We'll have something on there that'll be kind of talking about the latest things. And so this will just keep getting updated all the way through probably Thursday night and Friday. So again, WCA.com, on the web, on the app. It is our live winter storm blog. Don't miss it. It's going to be there for you at your disposal to check out for yourself. So again, that's what we're going to be showing off to you guys. So the rain is really starting to come down here, as you can see. Jack was just out there showing, you could see the rain that was on him. And here's the thing, it's getting close here. I will say this is a little piece of radar kind of information. Sometimes the radar isn't perfect in terms of showing exactly where maybe the rain is, or where the snow is, or where the sleet is. Definitely does not do as good of a job. As a matter of fact, which we can sometimes do, and I would venture a guess to say, you see up there into northern portions of McLean County, see this higher reflectivity there? Sometimes that can be sleet. The radar beam is hitting that sleet object. It's returning a higher level of energy to us, and you get sometimes this. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that's a little bit of sleet that they're seeing up there in northeastern McLean County, or maybe even up here into northeastern Iroquois County there as well. So the radar tries to do its best. It's not perfect, but it gives us kind of a gauge of things, of where that transition is. So you almost kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, about 15, 20 miles on either side of where that transition line is showing up here, because it could be sleet even though it's showing green. And it's the same thing with the radar that's on your phone, on the weather app. It's not always exactly perfect. I will tell you this though, once you get into that kind of stuff right there, that's, the dark blues, you're going to have snow there. And we're going to get those dark blues that are going to be in here before too long as well. So again, we're still a few hours away here. I stress to you again, you're not going to wake up to see a ton of snow if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning in places like Charleston. You're just not going to see it. Maybe Bloomington, you'll have some snow on the ground up there. But it's going to take a little bit of time to see that transition eventually kind of take place. So that's kind of an update that we've got here for you guys. Again, we got the whole weather team that's going to be here giving you the latest, the coverage of everything you need to know, the important information to get you and your family through the storm. But Jacob has another piece of information to get you through the storm that's very important.
Yeah, Kevin, we got to have a little fun with this. big snow, kids are getting snow days. How about some snow ice cream? I can't not pass up the opportunity to share this recipe with you. I've posted this on my Facebook page if you want it. Tonight, tomorrow morning, go stick some big mixing bowls out there and catch some of that snow. Maybe you put some big pans, that you normally bake things in the oven with. Put some of your cookie pans or your cookie sheets out there. Catch some of that snow. You need a lot of it. You need a big, bunch of 8 cups, because what happens is you mix in your ingredients. I've got a can of condensed milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. When you mix it in, the volume will actually be cut in about half. It'll become much thicker, more ice cream-like. And then you got to mix it for several minutes here. Once you do that, Kevin, my choice for snow cream is going to be sprinkles, some little chocolate on top. Some people like to put a little nuts in there. I think that's a great thing to note, especially with a couple of snow days out there too. That's something else. We've got a whole big list of school closings and updates. Some schools are doing e-learning. I'll mention that, but that still should give kids some time to get out and enjoy the snow for Wednesday, Thursday. That information also on the website and on the WCIA3 News app. Snow cream, Kevin, it's a delicious snack. Just got to get a couple of ingredients from the pantry out there. A little vanilla, a little milk, and you're good to go. Maybe I'll have to make some for you tomorrow.
There we go. Yeah, we're just going to wait for that snow. You said it's coming. It'll be here soon. Okay, so here's the thing. Jack is heading out in the storm tracker. Jacob's actually going to go home and get a little bit of rest because he's popping back in here to help out on the morning show, the early morning shows out here with us. I will say this. Tune into the noon show tomorrow. You may see all 4 weather people on at one time because we think at that time the storm's really going to be coming down, so we all may 4 be here at that time providing coverage and just kind of giving you the latest on what is going on. Again, check out the live blog for more. Tune in at 9 o'clock tonight. We'll see what Jack's doing up near Bloomington. I'll tell you that's where he's headed. He's headed up towards McLean County where that transition is going to be taking place here. So we'll check in with him, see how he's doing at 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. And of course, then the morning show begins at 5 a.m. In between that, you can go on to our live blog to get the very latest on any updates as our winter storm approaches. Okay, that's going to do it for this update. Expect more Facebook Lives, pictures, videos, and everything you need to know here in the coming days. We'll keep you updated. Thanks to everybody who did tune in. Be sure to share this video. Some of your friends and family did not get a chance to watch this. They were probably watching the Big Brother kickoff, Celebrity Big Brother. I think that just kicked off or something, whether it's today, tomorrow, or something. They're probably watching that or some other TV show. So share this with them and maybe they'll get a chance to watch this later because obviously there was a lot of information that they can take from this to help kind of plan and prepare for things. So that does it for now. For Jacob and Jack, I'm Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Thanks for joining us and we'll catch you guys soon.